Matt. Why don't you get us started in telling us how you got your start in the oil and gas industry?
So it's actually funny, I don't have any family ties into the oil and gas industry. I'm a first-generation college student, and so when I went to UT Austin, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do. So I walk into the natural science building and saying, hey, I'm looking to pick a major. Can you show me some options? And I'm going down the list, and I knew I liked math at the time, and so mathematics stood out as the obvious one, but I was continue to go down the list, and petroleum engineering also stood out near the bottom. And being from Houston, I had some friends whose families were involved in the oil and gas industry, and just being around them, experienced the type of high character, strong morals that those people did have, I felt like that was a pretty good path to emulate. So decided to take that route and never looked back. When I was in school, I ended up landing an opportunity with a small independent operator while also managing a full-time schedule as a full-time student. So I was a part-time employee at an oil and gas company while also full-time studying school. And so that was a great opportunity to really graduate, jumpstart my career with already 2 years under my belt at a corporate organization. Shortly after I graduated, packed my bags and headed to Williston, North Dakota. And there I worked as a night company man on site at a drilling location, lived on site, and really submerged into the operations side of the business and really got to understand what it takes to run an oil and gas operation and really just what makes the wheels turn into the beast that is an oil and gas company.
Yeah, is that how you kind of got where you're at Kraken Oil and Gas? Because you're based in Houston, but they're focused in the Bakken, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It was it worked out that way. I actually left a large global operator that was involved in the Williston Basin, and from there joined Kraken. And Kraken had just acquired what was seemingly an underappreciated asset at the time, and the thesis was to go out, drill and develop multiple wells, deploy modern completion techniques, and ultimately generate and create value. I was a number 8 employee at the time when I first started, and we had about 2,500 barrels of oil a day of our production base. And we went out, drilled 6 wells, tested our thesis, and ended up having successful results. Put the pedal to the metal, didn't look back since, and ultimately grew it to 50,000 barrels of oil a day.
Today?
Today, currently, yes.
With such a dynamic career, it seems like you've worked in the field, and now you're kind of in an upper management vice president position. How do you maintain a work-home life balance?
Yeah, so I think when I think of work-home life balance, I really think of just being selfless. So prioritizing family, prioritizing personal life, while at the same time balancing your professional schedule around it. So whether that means waking up a few hours earlier or staying up a few hours later, really just prioritizing what really matters in personal and family, and building your schedule around it and holding yourself accountable to at the end of the day get the job done.
Yeah, that's so important. On challenges, can you tell us about maybe a particular challenge you faced in your career and how you navigated through that roadblock?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge was coming on board at Kraken and being the only reservoir engineer at the time when we first started. I ended up having a great opportunity, being that lone engineer, to ultimately being faced with the great opportunity to build out the reservoir department, the development department, A&D department, really from the ground up, and working with our ops team and our management team to put in place our day-to-day processes and build the organization really from scratch is something we're really proud of.
That's great. And then thinking about the younger generation and energy and oil and gas and the many cycles and the transition the energy industry is going through right now, what advice do you have for the younger generation, whether it be leadership qualities, styles you identify with, et cetera?
Yeah, I think the advice I'd give to the younger generation is when you first start to really treat every task that's handed to you early on in your career like it's the most important thing to the company. Whether it's something small as going through a drilling report or working on small working interest wells or hanging a lot of forecasts on multiple wells, a large data set. Just something that may seem so small, minor, and repetitive to you at the time, putting in the utmost focus and commitment to those small tasks will ultimately reap huge benefits in the future. I think 5 years from now, you'll sit back and think, oh, I understand why I did this, or, oh, I understand why you did that. Mm-hmm. And I think another thing is just don't be afraid of the dirty work. If you're given an opportunity to head out for a stint in the field, or whether you need to roll your sleeves up just a little bit more on certain projects, just diving in and taking advantage of those opportunities early on in your career and really grabbing them by the horns and buckling down on that and putting your nose to the grindstone would really reap benefits and open doors you never knew existed.
That's so true. And I want to congratulate you again for this honor, and thanks for taking the time to speak with us.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.